This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tswalu Private Game Reserve this morning. We're sitting here on the western side of quarantine looking at the beautiful, looks like a small group of impalas. And looks like this is where they're going to be hanging around because it's slightly open. Also, this is where we're going to be searching around for a beautiful animal for this morning. So jump aboard to your very own live safari through the African bush. Good morning again, everybody. As we say that we're sitting here right on the western side of a quarantine, looking at the reaction of these impalas, but that doesn't look really threatened. They're all taking it easy, doing their own businesses. So my name is Andrew, and I have Morgan this morning. So this is how we're going to be taking you out to check what we could for everybody. We know there's got to be something happening out there. The whole night should be, I think. That's what I believe. Cats specifically. The temperature of the day sitting on a 14 degrees Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. It's cloudy. A little bit of a foggy in the background. Also remember you can talk to us using hashtag #WildEarth on Twitter, but also at FC on YouTube channel. If you are under the age of 18 years old, you can still talk to us using kids questions at wildearth.tv. And also easy if you go register on Wild Earth website and you head over to the live safari page. Then you can submit your question there. And we'll be answering them for you. So all these impalas all puffed up. As you can see, they're all caught, fluffy. And I trust so much because it's pretty much nice and open. I'm going to take this silent moment here just to listen if it's going to be any of a alarm from distances so we know where to go have a look. So we're going to carry on, check. Sounds nothing really making it over audio. So let's take a look at the weather on our other few locations.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard with all of us. We're here at Treehouse Dam doing something similar to what Andrew was. That is listening out to see if there's any alarm calls or maybe some sawing or some roaring, all those exciting things. It's me, Trishala. I've got Theo and camera with me this morning, and we are ready for an adventure. Yes, we most certainly am. And our adventure has taken us to Treehouse Dam to begin with. I have picked up on some female leopard tracks. They look like they're from last night. They're beneath any dew that fell this morning. So we're going to continue to the south, which is where they're leading us. Perhaps along the southern boundary, because these tracks could be for Moya, it could be for Tlalamba. They both frequently use this area. Plus, this is also where Sibuyi came in a couple days ago. So there's a whole lot of possibilities. So we're going to do a patrol off the southern boundary to see if we pick up on anything. As we're here at Treehouse Dam, still very, very quiet. It's also quite overcast today. So I'm hoping that the sun will peek through. And with the sun will come some elephants. Elephants at the dam. Well, let's go and make our way so that we don't lose any time if this leopardess is still on our property. I've lost the tracks actually by the hyena den block, so she didn't take either of the roads, but she's still heading south. So that's why I want to do a southern boundary patrol, see if I can pick them up again. But we'll start from this side to maximize what we get to check along the boundary. It's much easier to look at tracks on the boundary. At this time of the morning, luckily, there's a few cars that are starting to come out of camp, etc. So usually they haven't made it to the main roads yet, so the tracks won't be driven over. Well, we can hope. There are good spots here and there to look for tracks, but nothing as good as the sand on the boundary. Excuse me. Now I'm going to be mostly staying on Djuma today. I'm not going to go over to Chitwa this morning. I'm going to go this in the afternoon. So I'll mostly be working Djuma and give her a lot of attention today. Hi, Bobby Girl. You'd like to know if there's any animals in Djuma that we haven't seen live? We haven't seen a pangolin live. I'm sure there must be one on Djuma. The one that we saw live was in Buffelshoek. There are plenty porcupines on Djuma that at least has not been live the last couple of years. I'm not sure if there's been an aardvark live. You see tracks for aardvark. But Djuma is like all these properties is a transitional. You know, for animals, they don't know that there's boundaries, obviously. So something could come into Djuma and we'll never know about it. Or something can move off Djuma just the same way. Just saw a duiker run for its life. It's the same run as the... I'm just running from the vehicle, both the same run. Okay, we're at the southern boundary now. We're going to check for tracks. Hopefully we'll be lucky.
So we also checking for any possible tracks. Not forgetting that Kalamba, she was also lost in one of this block. So we're going to check all these roads to see if the tracks come out. They might have a long night of moving, do a lot of their work, scent marking over and over, hunting at the same time. But I know Tlalama, she loves this area, so she may sometimes spend a lot more time, maybe across to the north into Bevelshoek, one of our other traversing area up there. Which, if we don't see any tracks anywhere around here, we're going to check northern boundary then. Just gonna listen to all the sounds.
Wow, look at that beautiful sunrise. You can just see it starting to come out from those clouds. It's a nice cold morning. And if it's cold like this, most of the animals will be hiding away and trying to keep themselves nice and warm. Look at that landscape. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to And Beyond Pinda. My name is Busani, and behind the camera we've got Glenn. But in the meantime, we're gonna drive around and hope that we'll find something. Earlier on, we did find leopard tracks in the area, so I'm still trying to find exactly the direction of those tracks. And I think I'm gonna spend time around the area where I am at the moment to try to increase chances of finding that leopard. Look at that sunrise. It is so pretty. And it is quite windy. We've got a southwesterly wind. You can just see the mist on the gully there on the valleys. It's really a beautiful morning. And it is very, very quiet. There's not even birds chirping around. I think in the meantime, while I'm driving, I'm going to drive around and look for any more signs of a leopard. We're going to take you across to Trish.
Well, we are here. We have a very ominous sun rising as well. You can just see a sliver of it through the clouds this evening. Oh, this morning. There we go. It's all just one long day here in the bush. Look at the clouds moving past it. It's quite mesmerizing. Almost makes it look like the sun is rotating in the sky very quickly. It's just the illusion created by the clouds moving. Well, as for my tracks, I saw a set of female tracks leaving Djuma, but they didn't look terribly fresh. So I don't think it's the same tracks that I saw coming down south. So we're gonna keep on checking the boundary and have a look. Then we'll turn in at Twin Dams and search around if we don't see anything. We might actually check as far as the Mulwati, because Tlalamba was seen crossing out of the Mulwati a couple of days ago, out into Little Gawi. So it's possible. Look at it, it's escaped behind the clouds again. So shall we keep on going? As much as I love the fact that main roads are very productive, they're all of them are really busy too. So it takes a bit of concentration to discern which are fresh tracks and tracks on tracks, hyena cub tracks, different all sorts of tracks around. So you've got to pay extra attention. I think the worst is when there's tracks on top of tracks, because then sometimes you can think that this hyena has 3 lobes, but in fact it's just a hyena with another hyena stepped perfectly on top of it. All of you say that this morning has an ominous feeling. It definitely has an ominous look, but I myself am quite perky, I must say. I don't feel ominous. I can, though, very easily creep myself out, though, if you'd prefer. I'm very good at that. I love it and hate it at the same time. Hi, Conscious. You say that sun looked like a portal to another universe. Maybe it is. Maybe it wasn't even the sun. I love those kinds of things, when you can take something that is such a normal part of our lives, especially something like the sun that's been a part of every single creature that exists, part of their lives for their entire life. And we can see it from a different perspective, obscured by clouds or trees or whatever, and it can bring about this new life to something that we see all the time. It was very cool. Okay, now we can tuck in. I haven't seen a set of good tracks coming out. So now we'll try and tuck it in. Have a look at Twin Dams. But first I'm just going to dip down to the Mulwati.
Today is no ordinary day. We have many people on the vehicle. We have Dawn Rial here and we have Miss Gabby. They are holders of the Ticket to Dream.
It's a very special opportunity for us and a learning experience for Gabby.
My favorite is the wild dog because it's like painted a little bit.
If you want to go on safari with a Wild Earth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My most favorite part about Wild Earth is I have learned so many things and I have become interested in so many things that I never even knew about.
I'm going to ask my friends and my whole class, even my teacher, to go on safari.
We wanted to buy a Ticket to Dream because we wanted our family to have this as a special time in our lives that we can always look back and reflect on. This is a dream to be here.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of Wild Earth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching Wild Earth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at and beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on Wild Earth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
So we got all the bush chicken on the road here, crested francolins, which they're already been active. I'm probably gonna stick on the road. Some of them coming out of the wood, join the road. There are crested francolin. Off they goes, but they'll be on the road anyway. So it's always so important when you see such a bird, and then our cats, the leopards out here, and they would be really, really hunting for these birds when they ever around near these birds. So that's why also very important to stop and then see what could be around, could be hunting them. Like all across the roads and vanish into the bush. Danny, you're asking if this bird come in different color, a male and a female. No, the color is the same. So only that the male would have a spur on their legs, which female mainly don't have them. And I call crested francolin just because of they have a crest. But they're harder to see this crest, more especially when they're not threatened. You can see the little you could see the crest otherwise. So I'm going to check the northern boundary, head straight east, see if there's any tracks there. I'm going to be sending you across to Trishul.
We're here at Twin Dams this time. Just had a look around, had a look for tracks all the way down to the Mulwati and didn't see any come out. But that's a good thing for us. Hopefully that means that she hasn't left the property. And now I hope that she's in an area where we can actually find her and is accessible. She could have also crossed out at a separate point, maybe turned eastward or westwards. But for now, we're just going to concentrate on basically all the areas between the southern boundary and Vuyatela access. But we're going to take a moment now to just listen out. It's a nice spot. See if we can hear any alarm calls, any clues that could point us in the right direction. You can hear there's ground hornbills calling in the distance. I love their call. It's so deep. Alarm calls in this area. I think we should, we'll take Twin Dams up and then Beaver's Nest down, check for tracks again. I have a good feeling about, as you say, this ominous morning. I think that we're going to be lucky. All right, let's go. And to be lucky for me means we have a great bird sighting and elephants and basically anything that's cool. It doesn't have to be a leopard. Oh, a leopard's always nice. Like I said, you get addicted to the visuals of a leopard. Like especially the first time you see it, you just as soon as you spot it, it's the best. Hi Gavin, you'd like to know if birds also have mating calls? Or is it just alarm calls? So actually, when birds sing, bird song, that's usually to attract a mate to its presence, or at least let the mate know that it's around. So often when there's a lot of, especially in the morning, you might find particularly males perched up on a termite mound and singing away. And that's very, very attractive to females because this guy is out in the open and very risky, singing his heart out, not worried about predators, and despite the fact that he's obviously been doing this for a while, he's still alive. So it's risky behavior, and females like risky behavior because it shows that you have a strong, it shows that you are good at surviving, basically, and that's the genes they want for their offspring. So that song is I mean, I wouldn't call it a mating call, but it's what attracts. Oh, it's just my vehicle, never mind. It's what attracts them to each other. But birds tend to use displays more than calls. So it's a combination of a call and a display, like the red-crested cormorant. When he calls, he snaps his beak and he goes doo-doo, 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 and then he does his call, his display at the same time. So it's usually a combination, and you can usually tell what sort of sense dominates the communication of animals by just looking at them. Things that are pretty drab are probably using chemical sense and auditory sense. As also, if they make lots of sounds, they're likely to be communicating mostly with sound. And if they're very colorful like birds, they're likely to be communicating most of their messages with displays showing off those colors. It's not a golden rule, but it is a good, it's a pattern that is worth noting. Hi, Cindy in Tennessee. You'd like to know if females sing as well? They do, because actual bird song is something that all chicks learn in an interesting way, by the way. And they actually learn it while they're still in the egg. It's very interesting. But they will have it. Yes, they sing too. That's why I say it's the way in which it's done. Is it done as a part of a display, or is it done as a territorial communication? Is it done to teach the chicks? And usually, when it's to attract a mate, it's done in conjunction with that standing on a termite mound and being risky. Females do tend to be quieter, though, than males when it comes to the singing. As in, not as much as males, not volume quieter. I was hoping I would have picked up on something by now. So I guess Weaver's Nest it is. I'm seeing some evidence of elephants being around, but nothing very fresh. If I do find tracks of them, I'll also try to follow.
So we also still in a bumble, but we also seen a lot of tracks of it looks like there was a herd of elephants around here, but doesn't seem fresh. Probably maybe last night as well. But they have a lot of movement at night, so no limit. May have a luck come across some of those elephants around here while we're searching for these cats. Nice and closer look at the ring-necked dove, capped turtle dove, right there. Oh, it's just vanished, gone. Such a beautiful perched look on the ground. It's a pretty beautiful fire break here where they have burned down their grasses, so all birds are attracted. Still checking this northern boundary towards the east. But so far, nothing came out yet.
Good morning. So this morning in Tswalu Kalahari, we have I know you viewers have all seen this before, but a brown hyena den site. And we've got 3 of them at the moment. Looks like an adult with 2 of the younger ones. And a little bit of socializing, a little bit of grooming going on. But yeah, what a fantastic way to start the morning. So good morning, my name is John. I'm going to be your guide for this morning here in the beautiful Tswalu Kalahari. Behind the camera we've got Gert, and yeah, we're hoping for a fantastic drive. We're looking to head back across and see if we can pick up any of the big cats. But for the time being, we're going to spend a little bit of time here with this brown hyena. Obviously this is a thing that a lot of visitors to South Africa wouldn't really even know about. The cousin, the spotted hyena, is by far the more common of the species, and is certainly the one you see in more of the bushveld reserves. The brown hyena more typical to the drier environments, up into the mountains perhaps, but definitely not something you see too often out in the wild. And we are just incredibly fortunate at the moment that we have we have a den site, and we're viewing from a huge distance. It's quite high up onto a hill, but they've got a beautiful, almost like a little cave system that they're using. And as you can see, they're all enjoying a bit of the early morning. For most of the evening, certainly the adults would have been out and foraging, looking for food, scavenging. They are not hunters. They are not really, there's no real record of them being predators. So almost exclusively scavenging. And as you can see, the youngsters are quite happy. Mom's come home. Quite interesting with brown hyenas. A lot of people would believe that they are solitary creatures, and solitary when it comes to feeding. So when they leave a den site, they'll head off in their own direction, and not too fond of bumping into other hyenas, and certainly not too fond of having to share food with other brown hyenas. But fairly social around a den site. So there's records of up to about 12 individuals living in a den site. So not uncommon to see more than one in a situation like this. Obviously, like I said, it is mom and youngsters, but for sure we know there's at least 4 animals living in here. And they share the burrow with a big group of porcupines, a family of about 5 porcupines. So every now and then we see them, and we see a bit of interaction between them all. So yeah, some nice social living going on up there. Crazed clown, if you look at the 3 species that would be considered to be hyenas in South Africa, the biggest is actually the spotted hyena, considerably bigger. Brown hyenas, not as big. It's a bit deceiving when you look at them, because they appear to be these huge animals, but they have thick coats of fur on them. So no, the spotted hyena is the bigger of the species. Second would be this chap, the brown hyena, and then we get another animal called an aardwolf, which is considered to be a type of hyena, although it is a little different. The shape is similar, size is very different. It's a much smaller animal, and it's an insect eater. They don't have the strong jaws like the hyenas do, like these hyenas do, should I say. So no, the biggest one is the spotted. And then second would be this chap, the brown hyena. What should happen fairly soon is they'll enjoy the rocks for a while. Perhaps they're waiting to hope that the sun will catch them a little bit later in the morning. So there's a chance they just, like I said, this is just when adults have returned home. There's a little bit of socializing going on, a little bit of reconnecting of the family. But I'm sure they'll enjoy a little bit of the sun as it comes up over the mountains. But typically back into that den, back into that burrow, and they'll spend the majority of the day there. The adults will certainly start leaving a bit later in the afternoon, early evening, and then spend pretty much most of the night out looking for good food. Cecily, I'd agree with you 100%. Brown hyena is always a special sighting, and I really do consider it a privilege to, we know for sure that this area has, we have a very healthy population of brown hyenas, but they are shy, they're very secretive creatures, they're incredibly tough to see. So whenever you're fortunate enough to have a situation like this where you have an active den site, you have adults, you have youngsters, you have them there at a permanent basis, at least for a while, it's always an incredibly special sighting. And brown hyenas in general, like I said, very special to see, but a scenario like this, really fantastic. Very, very privileged to be able to sit and watch this. And that's, again, it's actually a very good question. That it's quite difficult to give you an honest answer with the youngsters. We've known about this den site for probably close on 2 months now. And we would have started seeing the youngsters coming out. But to be fair, I'm not sure for how long we missed them going up and down there. And obviously the very young pups or cubs, you wouldn't be seeing them until they're big enough to really show themselves on the rocks. But I would take a guess just looking at the size of them and say they're at least sort of 6 months old now. But very difficult to give you an honest answer, having not really been able to see them from much younger. We know this den site well. We certainly know that there's been an adult going up and down this hillside for a few months. So, yeah, I'd guess about 5 or 6 months old for these younger guys. Still have a lot of learning and a lot of growing before they start wandering off on their own. Again, don't be deceived by what the size they look like. They have a huge amount of hair on them. Everybody, we got elephants around us here, so just need to make a room. We're in one of these small roads where everybody has to drive in. Oops. I think it was a lot of a challenge for these young elephants that we just spot. Feel slightly threatened, but I think it's going to be all right soon. It was just because of the 2 cars that was running at the same time. So what I'll do, I'll go a little forward. There's more on the right. I'm going to try to have a look at this one on our left, because I think there's a fire break which they just burn the grasses here, so we can't off-road into this burn section. So we just, for now, have a look at this one on our left-hand side. It's got a lot of wood, but they will definitely gonna come out to one of these gap opened. So, Melo, you're asking if there is any other animal bigger than elephant. No, they are the biggest mammal out here, where they're considered to be one of the biggest, most, the elephant.
They're all coming slightly up to the open patch. That's one of the female that she just came out. Quite a few of a young one following her there. Oh, that little tunny. Looks like that one just went across. So, Acacia, you're asking what is the elephant lifespan? So they reach 50 above, 55, 60, possibly 75 if they're lucky out in the wild. So that's the general lifespan of the elephant. So here it's a breeding herd where we just saw one of the small one that walk across. So there would be probably more of these.
Founded in 1973, the Endangered Wildlife Trust has consistently and effectively worked towards achieving our conservation legacy. Contribute to this legacy by visiting EWT's Get Wild eShop and purchase products with a purpose.
I love being a cam-up for Wild Earth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Guys, have a look at what we've got. This is better than my birthday. Look at that. This is the first time that I ever see cubs this small. This is so special. This has officially just become my best sighting of all times.
Tune into Wild Earth every single day. It's in your nature.
Delivering 6 hours of HD wildlife content live every day is no small feat. It's a massive team effort, and we all rely on one another. Cam Ops have a bit of work to do in the morning. Up nice and early, get all the checks out of the way, and make sure we're ready to go live. Helping others fall in love with nature brings meaning to what I do. It's also a lot of fun.
So I did find violet female leopard tracks again on Weaver's Nest, as I thought, but they go straight out on the southern boundary. So now we're on Zoe's. Oh well, we're on Philemon's cut line, but we're going to use Zoe's to go towards Viatella access and see if there's any other things we can pick up on, any other clues. For the most part, though, I don't really mind. It's always a nice drive to be out in the bush, even if you don't see too much. And there's always cool stuff to be found. We just have to be at the right place at the right time. That is the key. Up in this northwestern corner, there's some nice open areas. We might find some nice antelope, some elephants coming from Sydney's dam into Djuma. Could even find Tabangumi there. Squirrel jumped onto the log next to us. I thought he was going to climb up, but instead he bolted off. You'd like to know if the ground hornbills are the ones that sound like a flute? No, I think you're thinking of the African grey hornbill. That sounds like a flute. To be specific, it sounds like, you know those flutes you get as a kid? The one you play like this? I remember having a wooden one, this short with just a little hole in it. That kind of one. It sounds more like that as opposed to an actual brass flute. But that's the one. The ground hornbill sounds like a... Yeah. Like Drew, while I move north than Zoe's.
So we're still sitting here with our nestling herds of elephants. All you hear is the bushes, which they're feeding right now. Best things in the morning. It's all about eating. But with the elephants, it's never too late, it's never too ill for them to eat because they eat entire hours. one we can hear making a lot of pushing trees is closer to us. So I won't move at this stage. I'm just going to sit here. I'll probably take it easy. Come around for us. Oh, they are in on the background. I mean, the sound. Everybody's saying you love the sound. It's incredible sound, especially that long way distance hyenas calling. Now with all the elephants also disturbing bushes. Such a beautiful sound. Little one always behind the mother. So we're going to stay put here because these elephants, they're all about to come out to the open patch. I'm going to be sending you across to Trish.
Yay, some elephants, that's awesome. And some hyenas whooping in the background. Here we have a couple of birds that are just enjoying themselves with some sort of insect feast in this area. It's got some drongos, got a white-browed scrub robin, and on the road we have our usual suspects, one of the doves, emerald spotted wood dove. Chugging along, they look so cute when they walk. Looking for a little seed, maybe a little termite. Preferably a little seed. If you ever come out here, you'll notice that there's these bird tracks that go kind of a little all over the place, like loop and round and back, and it's usually doves, Cape turtle dove or laughing dove or these emerald spotted wood doves, because they walk like that. And you see the way they walk, first left and then they turn right, and then left and then right.
Stations, we're going to close for a...
It looks so content. All the other birds have moved off now. Maybe just to give this one some peace, or maybe it's actually on the road because the others are gone. That's a really nice small dove. If you see it next to the Cape turtle dove, you'll realize the difference. In terms of actual length, there's not a huge difference, but in weight there is. So this one is about half the weight, so half the little fatness of the Cape turtle dove. So when you see them next to each other, you can really see that difference. Hi, Peggy. You'd like to know if doves fly long distances for food or shelter. They don't need shelter, but definitely food. Most of the time not. Doves tend to be resident, and they actually tend to be quite sedentary, so they don't travel long distances. Now, there's usually always an exception to this with birds. That one bird that traveled from here to here in search of something specific, but they will move with the seasons, and they will move kind of between provinces in South Africa, but not huge differences. We could get, when I mean between provinces, not as if this Cape turtle dove is flying from the Western Cape to here, more like Mpumalanga, Limpopo, or maybe KZN and Eastern Cape, that kind of thing, just where they border. They do travel, but not for long distances.
Right, everybody, we're still sitting here with breeding herd of elephant. As you can see, they've already seen the bigger one, already seen a lot of different age. They're all taking care of their businesses, feeding. They come so quiet. All you hear is bush sometimes, but they can be very noisy when they want. These two just joined up, feeding in the same place. And there's quite a lot of different species of they can feed on, including these grasses. Sorry everyone, they blocked the road here, which is I'm sure it's going to be
So welcome back to Tswalu. We've just pulled over here to have a look. We've got a nice big group of nice set of lion tracks that we've just picked up on now. So it looks like a bigger portion of a pride on the move. They are going in the opposite direction to where we are going at the moment. So we're gonna go around and try and get ahead of them. But for sure, one of the prides is on the move this morning. Some nice fresh tracks. Again, there's lots of game in the area, so using perhaps the cooler hours and the duller hours. The sun's not quite up over the mountains yet, so for a lot of the potential food for the lions, their eyesight isn't going to be as good as it should be. The lions will still have the advantage being able to utilize the lower light for seeing. But yeah, hopefully we can figure out their next movement and get ahead of them and catch the pride on the go. But for now, just some beautiful scenery. You're going to see in the next few seconds, we're busy climbing a sand dune. In the next few seconds, we're going to come up over onto a rise, and you'll see the beautiful sunrise. And not just the beautiful sunrise, but the real vastness of the Tswalu area. But yeah, how's that for a morning scene? Nature in its absolute finest. Can you wipe the lens, please? I just had a question there about the grass here that we are traveling through, and whether or not it is sour grass. And the answer to that question is yes. A lot of what you see out here is sour grass. And sour grass, sweet grass, the biggest difference between them is how palatable they are to the wildlife and for how long. So the sour grass is really not particularly palatable. Species will nibble on it, but for a very limited time of the year. For the majority of the year, it's really not very nutritious and rather unpleasant. The sweet grasses tend to hold their flavor and their nutrient for considerably longer. And therefore, for the wildlife, it's a much better nutritional value and a much more likely to be fed upon. So yes, yeah, lots of Kalahari sour felt out here. So what we've done as part of our, what I'd refer to as safari style tracking, is we are not literally following the lion print step by step. We are trying to predict their movements based on direction and then using the road network to crisscross ahead of them and see if we can pick them up. Obviously if we don't, we go back to the last tracks and then we start looking closer to where they left the road and where they wandered into. But yeah, this would be a more, like I say, I refer to it as a safari style of tracking. If you're tracking these animals in the traditional sense of tracking, you'd be off the vehicle and you'd be following them print by print, and again using that knowledge of the landscape, using the knowledge of the wildlife, but literally following the movement of the animals from just behind them. You know, it's I agree with everyone who's watching us. Tswalu is an incredibly beautiful area, and the landscapes are endless. So driving around here, you can't help but fall for the beauty of it. And then the wildlife is spectacular. You know, it really is. It's an incredible area, and Tswalu's done an incredible job to return the Kalahari to what it would have been hundreds of years ago. Jerome, the insect life has disappeared considerably as we go into winter. A huge amount of the insects start disappearing. Obviously, you're never not going to have insects around, but I'll use a couple of examples. We had in our summer season, we had massive amounts of those armored ground crickets, and they have all disappeared. You know, they're only here during the summer months, they're only visible during the summer months, and there is literally not one to be seen. So yes, the insect life has deplenished considerably, but there's always going to be insects around, but not like what you'd see in the summer months. So we're gonna, as I said, we've now crossed to the next road, and we're just gonna double check and see if we can get those cats coming out, or at least signs of them. But for the time being, we're gonna just slowly plod along and enjoy the silence of the Kalahari Desert.
If you thought you had daddy issues, then think again. Many of the fathers in nature don't have the most commendable parenting skills, but there are some who are always there to protect their young. In honor of Father's Day, this weekend, Andrew and Trishala will be at the fire discussing wild dads. Sign up to be an explorer and you can join in the fun. And if you want to wish your dad a happy Father's Day, then send your messages and we'll be sure to read them out. Educating our youth about the environmental threats we face is critical. Our future depends on it. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, is actively leading the charge. Their goal is to encourage children to fall in love with our natural world and to empower them to live sustainably in the future. Through their school programs, the children learn to report on environmental issues through videos, articles and photos.
The YRE program has changed my life in so many beneficial ways. Being out there at the workshops, I was entitled to talk with others, socialize, as well as my writing skills and leadership skills have improved, so it has been great.
WESA is a membership-based organization. By joining WESA, you will be helping to provide valuable support for these youth education initiatives.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Look at this, the little one is up and about. Certainly hasn't had enough milk at this age. No amount of milk is enough. Oh, Corky. Too sweet. Oh, look at this. That is stunning.
Tune into Wild Earth every single day. It's in your nature.
So, we decided to leave the herd of elephants. We may go back there again. We're going to carry on check as we were checking the roads or tracks, possible tracks of the leopards coming out. So nothing really. We checked the northern boundary all the way east. Now we're going to check a little bit of a cheetah cut line. There's a steenbok there, Morgan. Looks like a female steenbok. And one of the animals that don't actually stay for long, always vanish, especially as you put the cameras in them. Just gone. But there was a steenbok. And they love this burn section because it's already new shoots trying to grow in this burn section. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to be sending you across to Tswalu.
So we have found one animal, one lioness. As I said, the tracks we had earlier was of a bigger group. But what is quite typical of these big cats is, you know, in particular if they're hunting, being social creatures, you know, most of our big cats in the world are not social. They don't live in any kind of group, and lions are different. One of the advantages of being in a group is the fact that you'd have the ability to use numbers for hunting. And that's potentially what's happened here. She's wandered off in an opposite direction to others with the idea that she wants to hunt. But that is a beautiful example of a Kalahari lion. Big, healthy cats. What I'm going to try and loop around her a little bit so we can catch her from the front. So I'm going to go off-road and just do a little loop. The nice thing is that for her the easiest pathway is the road, so I'm 99% sure she'll stick to her plan, and she'll give us a chance just to get ahead of her. So there you see I've got ahead of her. What's interesting about the way she's walking, if you can see, she's got her head very low to the ground. So for sure she has lost the rest of the pride in this process of whatever they're doing. And I say lost, it's a temporary thing. Their senses are so incredible. What she will do is she'll just use her nose, her sense of smell, and she'll track them down. And she'll do that nice and quickly. But her body language, you can see she's busy sniffing them out. So I'm gonna keep funding her for a while, but in the meantime, hopefully she'll join up with others. We'll get a bigger group, but we're going to be heading across to Andrew.
So we stopped here just because of it was a beautiful audio of bird. But it was nothing to do with distress call or alarm call. It was just communication. That black-headed oriole. And the hornbill. Oriole in general, they very shy bird. You'll be lucky if you get closer to it enough, but they mainly just vanish, fly off. So everyone is saying you're loving all the sounds of birds, amazing. Indeed it is. Such a beautiful in the wild. Listen to all of this. So it's pretty still foggy, and I'm sure this is going to settle off as the sun rises further up. I'm going to be sending you across to Trish, who she also on the move. So we're going to also carry on.
Well, we went looking for a chameleon friend. Unsuccessfully, we moved on to smaller things since we haven't picked up any tracks. So I was hoping that our leopard friend, our chameleon friend, would be around, but it's not. So just kind of taking it easy and still driving around. What's nice is that the sun has popped out. And so have some warthogs. Let's just turn in here. They look quite nice and relaxed, which is great for us. There they are. They are so lovely. Still a little young. You can see that the moustache and the sides of their face is still quite prominent, and the tusks are quite small. Look at the patches of where the fur has been lost there on the legs, where they get down in their haunches to eat. They've lost their hair there. For obvious reasons. It makes sense not to grow hair in an area that your body has to keep investing for it to grow back, but rather to just callus the area. I wonder if this is the two young males that were part of a three young male, or for a trio of young male. Hi Talani, you'd like to know, why do some have light brown hair and others grey? You actually find that the younger ones have lighter brown hair. As they get older, it gets a little bit grayer. But if I'm talking about the facial hair, the hair on the top, it's usually got a hint of brown. I haven't seen it completely grey. Oh, off it goes. I love it when they trot like that. You're gonna come out the other side? Oh, nope, and they're back this side. Oh, I love it. Look at the way they move. Yes, I see you. So this one's a female. Hello, gorgeous. You can see the warts are much less obvious. I also really like the shape of their ears. It's an unusual shape. Now look at his warts, very obvious. Nice and big. But his tusks are still needing a bit of time to grow. Sandy Patch is a wonderful area to see smaller grazes, as well as the usual suspects, such as our impala, now the antelope, but I especially like it for these animals. They're still there just in the corner. But they've now, I was just about to say they almost look completely covered by the grass, but they're still there. Off they go. They were really nice and relaxed, those guys. Well, we're going to look around a little bit more. Although things do look a bit quiet here. Let me just take up my binos for a second. Thought it was something. Thought it was a snake, everyone, but it's not. Here we have the sun almost peeking through. I hope it does come out completely to warm up my fingers.
So we also bumbling around, hoping to find anything. Would it be antelope or lions? I mean, I haven't seen lion. Last time I heard the update of Nkuhuma there in the area, it's called a little gari there. So I'm only hope that we may sometimes see them while they're around, if they ever come further north from there. They will be still up on the move, even though it's already late for them. It's still cloudy and the weather is good. Carry on check.
Our warthogs have well and truly moved off. Anything else there? Patch for the moment, or here on the southern part of Sandy Patch, closer to Impala Plains. So we're gonna now. I'm not sure. I think we're just gonna bumble and have a look. Maybe we go to Galago Pan. Yesterday we had some nice luck with the elephants around Galago Pan. in the morning. Unexpected amount of elephants there at the pan when we were just following the mum and the two youngsters. And they led us to that nice big herd. So we'll try that out. But I really hope we'll find some elephants to spend our time with this morning. It has been quite quiet. But for now I'm going to send you over to John. He's had a cracker morning. He's back with his lions.
So we are back, and we have been fortunate enough now to, as I said earlier, we followed that lioness, and we came up with the rest of the pride. It doesn't look like the entire pride. We're missing the much younger cubs, the youngest of the cubs, but it looks like all of the bigger lionesses with the sub-adults. And they are moving. So I'm not sure if that means they have food already and they're taking them to food, or perhaps they're still looking. But it's interesting, where we were looking from them yesterday, they're heading back into the similar area. They've done a bit of a loop. As you all probably know, lions, lionesses, prides, they're incredibly territorial. So the bigger girls may have just been walking, looking to make sure that no other lionesses are in their area. But if I look at their body language, and it seems to me like food is the priority at the moment. And certainly looking at the youngsters, they're not hungry. I mean, they're not desperate for food, but they definitely haven't eaten recently. Their bellies are not protruding, which is what you typically see when they've had a good meal. See, one of the much smaller ones has just realized it got left behind, trying to catch up. Here comes one of the young males. Very pretty little guy. These Kalahari lions, these adults, when they reach maturity, big lions, big males could be in the range of 210 kilograms. There's records of Kalahari lions getting up to sort of 250, 260. So yeah, always nice to see. So I'm sure you can I just had a question there. I missed the first part of the question, but it was something about if anything had happened to their mother. If you're referring to this pride, there's no, all the adult lionesses are here. I'm sure you can hear the noise in the background there. Part of modern conservation is, unfortunately, with what's going on in Africa and the world, is anti-poaching. And here at Tswalu Kalahari, we have an incredibly effective team. So that noise you hear in the background is a helicopter, and just doing a patrol for the morning. Yeah, an interesting one to hear on our show, but always good to know that the guys are out and active and keeping a good eye on these animals. We're going to try and catch up to them again. Just weave our way through the bush, get back onto a road and see if we can pick them up a second time. So I'm just weaving my way back to the road. I'm gonna be trying to catch up to these lions, but for now we're gonna send you over to Andrew.
Make your way. So we got a whole group of impalas busy feeding, and then we thought when we maybe spend time with them, not much time, but just a little bit of a time, get to see how they react. That's what you hear. It's called Natal Franklins. There are Natal Franklins, but there's just a communication. Beautiful two male there, so it works better this way, where there's a whole group of impalas, and that forest safety is so important because everybody's helping out, looking around. Heather, you're asking if the impala ever sleep. You've always seen them standing up. So in the group, they may sleep, but not all of them. A lot of time they may be up, watch. And they're actually on the medium, part of the antelope that they're in the medium food source, where everybody, looking at them as a meal. For sure, but there is a time they may take turns, sleep, and some of them may have to watch when they're in the group. So they also mix feeder, which they eat, browse, they can browse. We see on the male, they're trying to feed on trees, but also it can take grasses, all of that plants. So in this group, it's so important also that when they feed, when they eat, some of them, they'll chew at least, they will be watching. So they don't actually prefer to feed at the same time, all of them, without nobody is watching for safety. It's quite a beautiful instrumental coming from these crested francolins on a background.
The annual Safari Guide of the Year competition aims to create awareness for those men and women who dedicate their lives to tourism and wildlife. This year's event will be held at Marataba, a breathtaking privately managed section of the Marakele National Park in South Africa's Limpopo province. In celebration of this, Wild Earth and Marataba Luxury Lodges are offering all explorers a chance to win a 3-night stay at Marataba Safari Lodge for you and a friend. In addition to a spectacular land-based safari, Marataba Luxury Lodges offer an opportunity for guests to cruise peacefully along the Matlabas River, watching the animals as they drink and wallow. The lodge offers you a chance to lie by the pool or enjoy a spa treatment, and one night could be spent sleeping out under the stars in a luxurious treehouse. Sign up to be a Wild Earth explorer before the 30th of June, and it could be you heading off on a long-awaited getaway. Wild Earth Explorers. It's in your nature.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of Wild Earth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me, and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching Wild Earth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially subalterns and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
We have some ellies. That just makes me so happy. We have some ellies here, and they're actually quite close together, go pants. So maybe they'll go and have a drink. But it looks like one's already busy having a drink. A little one. Hello, Smalley. Are you enjoying your milk there? Oh, that is too cute. Imagine one day a small thing like that is going to grow up into this huge, many-tonned animal. They seem to be moving quite quickly in that direction of the pan. But I think it might be actually moving quickly to the drainage where they'd like to feed down the bottom there. But I also saw another elephant coming from the other side of me. I wonder if it could be a bull, because they're hightailing it out right there. This one's still moving along, but I saw another elephant. Let's just stab him there. Let's just, yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if that's a young bull, but usually if they find that there's a young bull around, a breeding herd, they can move quite quickly, particularly younger bulls, because they tend to be a little bit more, I guess a little bit more annoying. They're not quite sure how to express all the different things they're feeling. Yes, it is a young bull. He's also moving quite quickly in that direction, following them. So the older bulls will also do this, but they do this persistently only when it's time to mate, only when they can feel that, and only when they can test and know that the female is receptive, but they don't continuously harass the herds just because they're around the herds. But the younger males, they're not quite, they haven't gotten into the swing of things. They almost haven't learned how to be gentlemanly about it just yet. This is a completely human interpretation of what's going on, but it seems like they haven't learned about the subtleties of approaching a herd when they're still quite young. Unlike the older bulls, who have a very, very calm, very relaxed nature about them. Until, of course, it comes to the peak of must. Hi, Deborah. You'd like to know if the bulls have to get permission from the matriarch to mate? Nope. It's not up to the matriarch, because every female in the herd has the right to mate. They're not cooperative breeders in the sense that one alpha female mates and everybody else doesn't. So everybody has the right to mate. So it's not up to the matriarch to say which bull can and which bull can't pursue a female in the herd. They will, however, all females in the herd react when they're being harassed, when one female is being harassed. But also that harassment is part of the whole mating game. The problem comes when the younger bulls sometimes, or even in the frenzy of must, sometimes females with calves that are very young can give off a similar chemical smell to those that are ready to mate, because they're still producing a lot of hormones that are allowing them to lactate, etc. So they can sometimes smell a little bit appealing, but it's just because they've already got a young calf. And that's especially irritating. So you'll find the whole herd might react to a male who's going after a cow with a young calf. If it's a very young male, a male that's just been pushed out of that herd or pushed out of another herd, so maybe it's just that male's just about 10 to 15 years old, very young, and is being annoying, you'll find that instead of just running off, the matriarch and some other large females sometimes turn around and chase him. We experienced that on Mamba Road. It was a couple weeks back, when this female chased this young bull around the corner where we were, so he just came running towards us. I see another one as well, but that bull looks younger in the distance. Hi, Game With Me. You'd like to know if we have names for the elephants? There are a few that we do have names for with obvious features. We're just going to move up and see if we can spot the other bull. And we do for the ones that have obvious features. So there was an elephant with a big hole in his ear, like he had a piercing for a nice big earring. His name was Daryl. We don't see him anymore. We have Fang. Fang is because of her one tusk, instead of pointing upwards like that, it points downwards towards us. It looks like a fang. This is actually part of the herd. Some female and her calf. So we have names for ones that have obvious features like that, but not many at all, because remember, elephants have very large home ranges, and Djuma is just a blip where we're pretty much nothing. We're just going to turn at the top because I want to go down. They'll walk through Djuma in a couple hours. So they don't hold territories, which means we don't have a reliable spot to constantly see them. It's also difficult to tell them apart, but I guess we also thought that leopards were difficult to tell apart until we invested time and effort into doing that. So it can be done. There's just very, very, very many elephants, thousands of elephants that can roam through this area, and lots of area for them to move in and move through. Hello, you. And your little. Oh, there's also short trunk. Short trunk, she has a short trunk. There's the half-eared female. We haven't really got a cute name for her, because I think half-ear is there's nothing warm about calling her half-ear. So we'll have to think of a nicer term for her, but she has half an ear, which is why she's called half-ear. Hi, you two. Are you very nice and safe in this little bushy corner? Look at that little one. Hi, Santos. You're hoping we get to see Fang sometime. So do I. She has such a beautiful, such a relaxed herd. I hope we get to see her sometime. But like I said, they move so far and different routes. But we will see her again. This is part of her home range. We'll just have to be patient. I think these two found a really nice nook here. You can see that the grass is very tall. And the trees kind of covering it over like that they escaped the harassment of the bull that was following the majority of the herd going down towards the pan. Oh, hello, Birch's darling. We were just there waiting for some insects to come out. Looking at the elephants, too. This little one's trunk is very, very cute poking through. But come on, you've got to go follow Mum. I'm getting a side-eye from this one. When baby elephants run, it is one of the funniest things. It's like they have pants on that's tight in some areas and very loose in others. Very, very cute. And for something so round and stocky, they seem to have a short distance between their legs as they run. Very cute. All right, well, we're going to follow them down, and hopefully we'll catch up with them at the pan. stopping along the way as they go. Obviously, because you can't just walk straight to the pan. What if you see some juicy leaves along the way? You've got to stop. It's like the crispy chip. I always think. Like, you know, somebody's making chips or crispy potatoes and they're still busy cooking, but as you walk past, there's that one little one that's really crispy. You've got to just take it before you go to wherever, even if dinner's not ready or lunch or whatever. You got to just take that crispy chip each time you go past because it's there, it's small, it's waiting for you. That's what the juicy leaf is to these elephants. I expect the rest of them are actually already at the pan because I see none of them down here. They might be feeding in the drainage. We'll have a look now. I do love them. They make me feel very warm and fuzzy inside, full of sparkles. I don't feel like that usually. They just make it a little extra. I can still see those ones coming down, but we're going to speed off to the top. Because no doubt those will join us. Yay. Oh, are we too late? Oh no, they're still there. So we need to just get up onto the top on the other side to catch them at the pan. But I'll see you when we're there. Either way, they're moving a little bit. We'll follow them.
So we're sitting patiently waiting. It's quite interesting. We've been following these cats, these lions for a while now, and they seem to have split into two evenly sort of sized groups. And just looking at the bigger lionesses, the behavior they're showing, the body language they're showing, they are 100% on the hunt. And the youngsters are training a little bit behind the lead females with the idea that they're not quite skilled for hunting. But we having some of the younger ones coming out now. I can see a pile of sand there. There's obviously some kind of burrow that's got their attention. But always interesting to watch the young lions when they're on the hunt. They're at an age where they don't quite yet have the skills, but more importantly, they don't quite yet have the attention span for hunting. So the lead lioness that we had past us about 5 minutes ago, she's walking, stopping, looking, listening, really paying attention to the bush around her, but being very focused, not being distracted. As you can see, these little guys are distracted by everything. So the one you're seeing now has just turned back because his sibling has just gone to the same hole that he was at 2 minutes ago and is checking it out. Obviously, when they're hunting, they cannot be distracted. They need to be focused on the end goal, which is whatever animal they're going to try and take. So you can see this little guy's actually just stopped and turned back. So further behind us, I can hear another animal calling, another lion calling. So, as they're hunting and they're getting split up, a little bit of contact calling going on as they're trying to keep an eye on where the next one is going. And that's why he stopped and turned back a few seconds ago. He's just trying to figure out where whoever is calling behind him is calling from. But like we saw earlier, even if they lose sight of each other and lose sound of each other, they will ultimately find each other. Their sense of smell is so incredible. They'll follow the scent trail. There again, you can see this one stopped and is looking back. So that one is looking in the direction of where the contact calling is coming from. So any minute now, I'm sure we'll have at least one, but maybe a few more of them coming in from behind us. So we're going to sit exactly where we are. We've got such a nice open area here. We're going to sit tight exactly where we are. We won't follow these first three. We'll wait to see who else is coming in from behind us. Quite funny. There's a little bit of confusion now. These two had sight of one of the bigger adult females a few minutes ago, and we're confidently following her. But now that they hear somebody behind them, they seem very unsure about where they should be going, which side they should be heading to. Again, proof that these younger cats have got a huge amount to learn. They still, when it comes to being lions and what they do, they're still in the amateur leagues. Now, these cats are in phenomenal condition. It's again quite interesting with Kalahari lions because territories are so big and you know, lionesses typically then form smaller prides. Territories are big, males are not interacting as much, males are not fighting and losing territory as often as what you'd find in areas, for example, like the Kruger, where there's bigger densities, bigger competition. It means that the overall condition of these cats is better, it's healthier. You might have one or two lionesses. Often lionesses raise cubs on their own, because they're not worried about having to have strength in numbers to protect cubs against males coming in from other areas. But what that means, for example, with things like hunting is that they get the best of the food. So now I see another lioness coming into from our left here. So this is the one that's been calling and disrupting the youngsters. She's been contact calling, and the younger animals have actually been answering her, which is helped guide her to where she's going. But that's what broke up the movement. And I'm sure you can hear her now. She's calling for others and looking behind her. So that very soft call you heard, it is a contact call, it's a location call. It's when they're looking for each other. Lions, as part of the bigger family of panther, they have the ability to roar. But this is obviously not roaring. This is just trying to find each other. One of the youngsters up ahead has already gone into stalk mode. You know, these games we see lions playing, this is how they learn to be lions, this is how they learn to hunt. So the one lying on the edge of the road, the minute it saw the bigger female coming, and you can see how they drop into the grass, and the hunt is on. She plays along and lets them grab her. One day these skills, you see them practicing here, they will use for survival. That one didn't quite get it right, but it was a good attempt. At least it knew to drop into the grass and hide. We're gonna sit tight here for a few minutes and just see if more from the pride catch up. As you saw earlier, there were a lot more than just the 4 that we've seen, and I'm still hearing lots of contact calling, so they're not too far behind. But yeah, we're gonna sit quietly for 5 minutes and see who else pops out.
This is Jake Whitener, all the way from the US, and he is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I decided to support and buy the Ticket to Dream to help Wild Earth in its mission of conservancy towards animals and the environment.
If you want to go on safari with a Wild Earth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
And I would highly recommend that people would be involved in that program.
Sign up to be a Wild Earth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
Ever since I was able to get the Ticket to Dream, I've been looking forward to coming on this drive. It is an absolutely fabulous experience and it's great.
The Mara Triangle is a jewel in the Kenyan conservation crown, and thanks to the dedication of the Mara Conservancy, it thrives as one of Earth's greatest national treasures.
We have been experiencing a reduction in the whale snails that we collect on a monthly basis, and this is basically attributed to our intense patrols.
Over the years, this courageous team of anti-poachers has reduced poaching to almost zero.
Mimi naitwa Stephen Olereso. Nimefanya kazi miaka 16 sasa, kuanzia miaka 2002. Hao wanadamu ni wenye utua sana sana inaogofya ni wale wenye wanaenda kama ndovu, wanatumia kama bunduki. Sasa hiyo ndio huwa inakuanga hatari sana sana kwa sisi.
As a result of the global pandemic and the massive reduction in tourist revenue, the Mara Triangle is facing a financial crisis. They need your help if they are to continue their ability to protect this magical land.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at Wild Earth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, you're going to have to register on the website. But once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
The elephants have moved very quickly. They had a very quick drink and they were off, but we're going to take Gallagher shortcut round and find them again. They seem to be like they're on the move though. They seem to be very hurried. I wonder what it could be. Not uncomfortable though, not displaying, not in any way cautious, but just moving very, very fast. Oh, maybe they have places to be. things to do for the weekend. So I'm almost by them. I think they're kind of moving towards the drainage to get some more food. But I'm going to send you over to Andrew for me. In the meantime, for an update.
Good luck, Trish. So we got a dwarf mongoose sitting right on top of that mound, busy scratching. Maybe that's the beginning of the forage. Over the day, they've been sleeping in that mound, I guess so. And they are dying now. They don't move at all at night. And they sleep inside the holes. Would be a holes of fallen logs or a mound, termite, and all the termite mound. And that's so cool when they decide to come out. One has to come out first just to check for safety, if it's safer enough for all of them, and they will start to come out. And they are associated with the hornbill drongos, but hornbill specifically. Looks like that one is just sitting, freezing on there behind this brush. So Catherine, you ask, how far would they forage when they get mobile? So it depends. When they're not raising their babies in this mound, they can go far away because they don't have to sleep in the same mound every day. So they will switch this mound as they go. So they can go far enough. So it looks like they all vanish off. We just got them already moving, decided to get out of this mound. So we're going to be sending it across to Tswalu with their lines.
lioness coming, so.
Okay, I'll be on these ones for now. Said anything.
So I think we're going to keep going around. We've had them cross already, and I actually thought there was another lioness behind us, but having seen what happened a few minutes ago, I think the youngsters actually got left behind. So perhaps both of the lionesses have already crossed. I'm going to try and loop around them. They're starting to move into some slightly thicker vegetation. So we'll keep using the road network and trying to catch up to them. And let's see how we do. Jackie, that is a very good question, and yes, it typically with lions when they're on the hunt, the lionesses will, a lot of their communication when they're hunting is through body language. So it could be something like a simple look, it could be the actual body movement of the female. But yes, the youngsters will know that they need to hang back while she's on the hunt. What is quite tricky at this stage of life is if you look at the youngsters in this particular pride, they're at a couple of different ages, and the older ones being about 8 or 9 months old. So they're getting to an age now where they're starting to become more confident, and they're starting to feel like they should be able to do more within the pride. What that means is that they're going to be tagging a little bit closer to the bigger girls when they hunt, and that obviously has its pros in that they'll be able to look and learn, but the cons being is that they often give them the pride away, and so it's a bit of a tricky position that the youngsters are in at the moment. They want to be involved, but they lack the finer skills. But a simple glare from one of these bigger females will be enough to show them that it's time for business, and you guys need to hang back for a little bit. White mane, with any species that has a territory and a home range, the most important thing to know is that with a territory, it is a core area that, so with lions, if you talk about territory, it's a core area that they use, and it is an area that they will protect, they will fight to the death to protect it. A home range is a bigger area, so a home range will go beyond a territory. and going beyond a territory. There'll be areas where they travel that perhaps they're encroaching on other territories. So it's an area that they'll utilize, but certainly won't protect, and certainly won't put their lives at risk to protect. The biggest difference, obviously, like I said, being territory, these cats will absolutely fight to the death to protect. I just had an interesting situation there. We didn't see one of the other lionesses coming past us, so she almost bumped into us. But there you can see the two youngsters have waited for us, so there was actually a lioness behind us. You'll see how happy they are to see her. Yeah, these cubs seem very excited about something. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced they've got food, but you never know. These lionesses may be leading them back to food. They're certainly walking with purpose. You know, they're walking with some kind of strategy. Heather, I agree with you that the light at this time of day, and I actually mentioned it yesterday, it's, you know, for a photographer, this kind of light is just a photographer's dream. And at this time of year, the colors of this environment, you know, as the grasses dry up, it really is, it's spectacular. And obviously having lions in this background with, you know, if you look at their colors, a lion's typical color, and you look at the winter grasses, it is, you know, we know about camouflage, we know how they utilize camouflage, but their camouflage certainly is more aimed at this time of year. You know, the summertime, they'd be able to disappear into the long grass and behind the cover of vegetation. But this time of year, the beautiful golden grasses matching their, you know, their really beautiful tawny skin. You can see that the two youngsters have stopped to look at something, and there is actually, in the distance, I see movement of a gemsbok, an oryx, which again adds more to our puzzle here as to where these lionesses are going, because they did not even hesitate. They didn't stop to look. They walked right past them. So perhaps they have a surprise for the cubs already waiting somewhere. Yeah, we'll keep following and see what we come up with.
This little squirrel is just chomping on a little nut. Oh, here comes a friend. And there goes that guy. There's a bit of a fight going on in this tree. I think they might be siblings. But one's just trying to eat its food in peace. But I guess that's just the way it is with siblings. You try and do something in peace, and then they come along to disturb you. I was the one that was doing the disturbing, though, when I was little. The other one's head is just popping out below. I guess because there's so little sunlight, they need to move around to get warm. You have something in your whiskers. You can see this one's puffed up a little bit, obviously for the same reason, to get warm. Now pop up again. There we go. just living their best squirrel lives here. A couple nuts, someone to play with. Okay, one's hit the ground again, running. I suppose it'll come back in a bit like it did earlier. Maybe it'll be nice and bring its siblings some food. Some more marula nuts maybe, they love those. The seed of the marula has these really nice two little nuts that they can pull off and consume. Apparently it's quite nice for humans too. Will you come out again? Off he goes.
So you can see we're still following these 4 members of this pride. I am not sure where the rest of the group has gone to. I'm not sure if they took another route earlier. I did say we did see them split, but since then we've had no sign of the rest of the group. A little bit of noise, a little bit of calling every now and then, but at the moment we're following 2 of the bigger lionesses and 2 of the sub-adults. And you can see there a lot of excitement going on here. I'm really hoping that they're taking them to food. And as we saw a few minutes ago, they've passed a couple of oryx and haven't shown any interest. So perhaps they've already done the job of the day and are not taking them back to a kill. Sorry about that, everybody, about all the technical issues. We are sitting here now looking at this beautiful tree over here, with all covered with lichen, all of a lichen taking place already. So it's an older tree, looks like it, but it's a Belenati tree. It's quite a very common tree out here. Just by looking at these, all the trunk, all you see, some part is all dried off a little bit. Mainly when it was still a shorter, younger tree, many elephants have come attempt to break down some of these branches. So this Belenati we're looking at, there's a road called Belenati Road, so we're in that position. So is this tree specifically. Fruit, delicious for most kudus and the elephants.
And the fruit itself is kind of oily. It's actually flammable, so if you want to build a fire or keep the light at night, get it going, you can burn them. So, Annette, you're saying it's a magnificent tree. Yes, I agree with you. It's such a beautiful trees. Every time I drive past these trees, I look up, all I hope to find a leopard or maybe a python, because of course they will love such a trees as well to roost on. So, we're gonna leave this tree and carry on, do your search on Belenati Road.
The Endangered Wildlife Trust fights at the forefront of conservation, across the vast Karoo and sweeping grasslands, in remote pockets of forest, along road networks, across African skies, and in communities to conserve our wildlife and wild spaces. Help us to protect forever, together. Donate now at ewt.org.za.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at and beyond Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through and beyond Ngala on Wild Earth. Send me live questions through the Wild Earth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
The croc is still holding another one there. It's holding from the hindquarters. I would really want. The wildebeest cross, is it trying? The croc is holding the tail. It's holding tight. Oh no. Goodness me. Lucky wildebeest. You have another day to live.
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth, daily.
Hello, I'm Marna, your Wild Earth Safari Guide from and beyond Ngala. What's my favorite animal? Definitely elephants, and in particular, an elephant bull, an old elephant bull. I think the sheer size partnered with their experience because they grow so old. I always wonder what they've seen and how they've seen the bush change over those many years. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on Wild Earth.
Near some dwarf monkeys. They're in this mound and they're usually at the bottom. But the thing is, we ended up just driving, didn't notice it, and stopped. And then noticed that they were right next to the car, popping their heads out of the holes. They're a little bit higher. The one they were popping their head out of was a little bit higher. Somewhere. Okay, let's watch from here. They might have gotten tired of us and just moved off, because they do have a lot of, like a network of tunnels beneath the ground that they use to move from space to space. But it was very cute when they were popping their heads out, because they were right next to us, so we were close, close, close. And their little noses were wiggling. Hi, Telsif. You'd like to know if mongoose dig their own tunnels in the termite mound? They do both. They'll use existing tunnels, and then they'll dig off more tunnels within those existing tunnels. That's especially important if they want a tunnel that's more suited to their size. You can see there's lots of their excrement around. It's a well-used home of theirs. I just want one to pop out to show us its cute wiggling nose. They react quite strongly to movement and sound when you're close like this, so it's best to keep our voices low and our movements very, very slow and deliberate. I think it might have just been popping out to kind of check us out. It's a little curious about us, but now it's decided, no, I'm either going to move on or I'm going to settle inside my mound where it's nice and warm. Hi Zoe, you'd like to know if they'd share this mound with other animals? They would. Maybe not this particular mound because it's very small. But part of this mound could still be active with termites. It would usually not be the part that they're using, but they can live alongside them. They could share the mound with lizards and bigger mounds. You could share this mound with warthogs, with hyenas. Squirrels sometimes dart in and out of these mounds. Maybe a little genet would be curled up in the mound spending the day. Termite mounds are used by many, many animals. Think of it as like an apartment block. Different animals occupy different places, and they can kind of coexist. They usually won't live in a place where they can be eaten, at least to a certain degree. Sometimes I have seen termites, mongoose and hyena, same mound. Anyway, let me send you off to Andrew. I'm going to wait to see if a head pops up here.
So, thanks Tricia, we got close. Look at these lines. Pride. And it's Talamati pride, where they all are scattered around in this bush. Can only see, looks like one or two. And I have just walked in to Djuma from the west. So we're lucky that they have just walked in this morning. I mean, not long ago, so they crossed the border into Djuma. So they may sometimes move again, or they may settle down in this area. Everybody's saying he's so happy that I find them. I'm very much happy as well. So indeed, we're actually talking about cats in general this morning. And it will fail all those leopards. But for a turn, got a big cat. Panthera Leon, the lion. A little bit of a wind blowing. You can see these grasses. So anyway, you're asking if they look like they're eaten. They don't look really full tummy to me. So I know most of them, we only see the two, that there were male and a female lying on the road there, but they don't. We're just gonna look at them when they're mobile again, just to see if they're eaten. Alex, you're asking how many lions can I see? It's probably, I've seen already 4. We got, I think 3. We can't see. You can't actually see the rest because of in there. Actually, grass is so tall, you can only see the ears. There in this direction, there's 3 of them, and then the far right, we saw male go down and the other female as well. So looks like a 5 that we can actually see. That I've seen already, but could be more. all I'm hearing, it's all a communication they are doing. So we'll actually see right now, because we still hear that how many of them. I know in Dalamati Pride there's quite a number of them there. So hopefully they get to join together